Namaste. Welcome to Samskriti. We are now in the sixth sarga of Yuddha Kandam in the Adhyatma Ramayanam series. Ravana was overcome both by grief and anger to know of the destruction of that great army led by Atikaya and others. So, stationing Indrajit for the protection of Lanka, Ravana himself sallied forth with a big army to fight with Sri Rama. Seating himself in a magnificent chariot and equipped with all kinds of armaments and weapons of war, the mighty Ravana went forth to challenge Rama himself directly. While thus charging towards Rama, Ravana destroyed numerous monkeys with his arrows, sharp and penetrating like poison. Many a monkey leader, including Sugriva, fell down on the battlefield under this attack. Seeing the powerful Vibhishana equipped with the mace, Ravana shot at him a powerful weapon called Mahashakti, given to him by Maya. Noticing that the weapon was directed at Vibhishana for his destruction, the mighty Lakshmana thought, Rama has given shelter to this Asura. Hence, he must not be allowed to die or be harmed at any cost. With this resolution, he took his mighty bow and stood in front of Vibhishana like an immovable mountain for the latter's protection. That specially charged weapon shot by Ravana at Vibhishana was infallible, so it struck at Lakshmana. But what can the Shakti of a weapon do against him, Lakshmana, the incarnation of Adisesha, who is the support of all the Shaktis of Maya? Still, in compliance with his present human status, Lakshmana fell unconscious on the ground. In order to take him away, Ravana tried to lift Lakshmana with his hands, but to his great astonishment, he could not do so. Indeed, how could a lowly and humble demon lift him, who is none but the Supreme Lord himself? He is the Virat Purusha who supports the three worlds, an aspect of Mahavishnu. On seeing Ravana attempting to lift up Lakshmana, Hanuman, in great anger, hit Ravana on his chest with his powerful fist, with Vajra-like ferocity. Due to the impact of that punch, Ravana fell down on his knees with blood flowing profusely through the mouth, nose and ears. He became dizzy and somehow lifted himself to the rear of his chariot. Next, Hanuman lifted up the unconscious Lakshmana and brought him to where Sri Rama was. For the sake of Hanuman, Lakshmana became very light and small so as to be allowed to be lifted easily, though he is the heaviest of the most heavy of elements. This was done in deference to Hanuman's friendship and brotherliness, as well as his devotion and submission to the Supreme Lord. Realizing that Lakshmana was but a part of Lord Narayana himself, that powerful weapon Shakti bounced off him and went back to Ravana's chariot. There, Ravana too gradually regained consciousness. He became angry and taking his bow, he rushed towards Rama menacingly. Seeing Ravana coming in his direction, seated in his chariot, Sri Rama was moved by great anger. The Lord of the worlds then climbed on the shoulders of powerful Hanuman and faced Ravana. Sri Rama then strung the string of his bow, which made such a formidable and loud twang that it could demolish to rubble even the Vajra by the energy of its sound waves. Then Rama addressed Ravana in a very grave and serious voice. O you despicable Rakshasa, wait for a while. Though I am even-minded and treat all creatures alike, still you have offended me unnecessarily, and how dare you wish to escape from me now? Stop for a while. I shall kill you using the same arrow which I had used to slay your Rakshasa followers at Jannasthana. Stand in my presence for a while. Hearing these words of Rama, Ravana sent sharp arrows at Hanuman, on whom Rama was mounted. But in spite of being hit by those sharp arrows, Hanuman's strength only increased on account of infusion of Rama's prowess into him, and that great monkey roared loudly and fiercely with renewed vigor. When Rama saw Hanuman thus wounded, he became extremely angry and ferocious, as if he were a personification of Kala Rudra, the destroyer himself. In an instant, with powerful arrows, he destroyed Ravana's chariot with all its horses, standard, the charioteer, umbrella, and his assemblage of weapons. Next, Rama pierced the body of Ravana with his arrows, sharp like the Vajrayuda with which Indra had smashed the mountains earlier. Wounded in this way by Rama's arrows, the powerful Ravana trembled and swooned, and his bow fell down from his hands. When he saw Ravana in this plight, Rama cut off the crowns on his heads with his semicircular arrow and told him, O Ravana, as you are terribly distressed by the wounds caused by my arrows, I let you go now. Go to Lanka and take rest. Tomorrow you shall have more experience of my prowess. Then, with his body torn by Rama's arrows and having his pride and arrogance crushed, Ravana entered Lanka in great grief and shame. Now, Rama looked at Lakshmana, who was still lying unconscious, and in keeping with his human appearance, he indulged in grieving and told Hanuman, O dear, as before, go and get those great herbal remedies once more in order to revive Lakshmana and all the other monkeys. Ordered in this manner by Rama, Hanuman proceeded with the speed of wind, crossing the ocean. Just about that time, the spies of Ravana went to him and reported, O Lord, Rama has sent Hanuman to the Ksheerasagara to get herbal remedies to revive Lakshmana. These words of the spy set Ravana thinking. At night, he went alone to the house of Kalanemi. Seeing Ravana visit him at that odd hour, Kalanemi was surprised and perplexed. After receiving him with Arghya and Padya, he stood before Ravana in all humility and said, O Lord, what shall I do for you? What is it that has brought you to me? Ravana, who was distressed with great sorrow, said to Kalanemi, Bad times have overtaken me too, and misfortunes are befalling me one after another. Now, in order to revive the powerful Lakshmana, who has been hit by my weapon Shakti, Hanuman has gone to fetch herbal remedies. You do what you can to obstruct him in his course. Adopting the form of an ascetic, you should deceive the great monkey and delay him in his mission. After that, you can come home. Hearing Ravana's words, Kalanemi replied, O my master Ravana, listen to what I have to tell you, and please take my words in their true spirit. I shall certainly do what is pleasing to you, but know for certain that I shall not be able to return alive from this mission. What happened in the forest earlier to Maricha, who went in the guise of a deer, the same is going to happen to me also. O Dashanana, there is no doubt about it. After all your relatives are dead, after seeing the whole of Rakshasa tribe destroyed, of what use is life for you? Of what use is the kingdom or even having Sita? What will you achieve even with your body, which will be as good as a corpse? Therefore, give away Sita to Rama and the kingdom to Vibhishana, and you, O powerful one, take to the life of an ascetic in the forest. Taking bath early in the morning in pure clean water, perform rites like Sandhya and others, resort to solitude, and sitting in a convenient posture and abandoning all attachments to all persons and external objects, slowly but steadily withdraw your mind away from them towards the inner self and contemplate constantly on the Atman who is distinct from the Prakriti, that is the objective universe. O Great One, this whole animate and inanimate world, consisting of the body, intellect, and the senses, extending from the Creator Brahma down to the blade of grass, in fact, all that can be seen and heard, are manifestations of Prakriti, also known as Maya. It is the cause of this tree of the universe, of its creation, preservation, and dissolution. Its three aspects of Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas constantly generate beings akin to them. Desire, anger, and other passions are its sons, and cruelty, avarice, and other tendencies its daughters. It continuously dilutes the Atman, who is luminous and all-pervading. Maya always imposes its two inherent qualities of being a doer and the one who enjoys or suffers on its Lord or Master, which in this case is the Atma. As a result of this, Atma comes under the spell of Maya, which continues to keep playing with the Atman as if it were a toy. The Maya uses the Atma as a puppet and makes the latter dance to its tunes. Though by nature very pure, the Atman, by association with Prakriti, is deluded by its guna and forgetting his own real nature becomes outward going. Instructed by a teacher who has realized himself as pure consciousness and thereby knowing that the Atman is different from Prakriti, the Jiva turns his outlook from the external to the internal and realizes his own ever pure spiritual nature. Then, the Jiva, who is really free even in the embodied state, recognizes his freedom from the clutches of the gunas. You too, by controlling your senses and ever reflecting on the Atman as distinct from Prakriti, can become liberated. If you cannot reflect in this way, you practice devotion for the Supreme Being as endowed with attributes. Meditate on the shining form of Rama, who resides in the hearts of all, as served by Lakshmana, holding two bows. Meditate on him as seated in the lotus of your heart in the heroic pose on a seat made of pure gold, studded with costly gems and covered with soft cushion. Meditate on him seated beside Sita, as endowed with large eyes, as dressed with clothes shining like lightning, as adorned with a crown, necklace, armlets, kaustuba gem, anklets, wristlets, and floral wreath. Meditating thus with supreme devotion, you can undoubtedly gain liberation. Hear always accounts about him in the company of other devotees with a concentrated mind. By doing so, all your sins, however heinous, will in no time get burnt like a heap of cotton by fire. Abandoning enmity, cultivate devotion to Rama. He is that pure existence to be ever meditated upon with a concentrated mind, the one without a name and form, the unitary eternal being, infilling everything. Thus ends this sarga. Let's move on with the chanting now. Adhyatma Ramayane Yuddhakande Shashtha Sargah Shri Mahadeva Uvacha Shrutva Yuddhe Balam Nashtam Atikaya Mukham Mahat Ravano Dukkha Santaptah Krodhena Mahatavritah Nidhayendrajitam Lankarakshanartham Mahadyutihi Swayam Jagama Yuddhaya Ramena Saharakshasah Divyam Syandanamaruhya Sarvashastrastra Samyutam Ramameva Bhidudrava Rakshasendro Mahabalah Vanaran Bahusho Hatva Banairashi Vishopamaihi Patayamasa Sugriva Pramukhanyuthanayakan Gadapanim Mahasatvam Tatra Drishtva Vibhishanam Utsasarja Mahashaktim Mayadattam Vibhishane Tamapatanti Valokya Vibhishana Vighatini Datta Bhayoyam Ramena Vadharho Nayamasuraha Ityuktva Lakshmano Bhimam Chapamadaya Viryavan Vibhishanasya Puratah Stito Kampayivachalah Sa Shaktir Lakshmanatanum Vivesha Mogha Shaktitah Yavantyah Shaktayo Loke Mayaya Sambhavantihi Tasamadhara Bhutasya Lakshmanasya Mahatmanah Maya Shaktya Bhavet Kim Va Sheshamshasya Harestanoho Tathapi Manusham Bhavamapannastadanuvrataha Murchitah Patito Bhumau Tamadatum Dashananah Hastaistolayitum Shakto Na Babhuvati Vismitah Sarvasya Jagatah Saram Virajam Parameshwaram Katham Lokashrayam Vishnum Tolaye Laghurakshasah Grahitu Kamam Saumitrim Ravanam Vikshya Marutihi Ajaghano Rasikrudho Vajrakalpena Mushtina Tena Mushti Praharena Janubhyam Apatadbhuvi Asyaischa Netra Shravanaihi Udvaman Rudhiram Bahu Vighurnamananayano Rathopastha Upavishat अथ लक्ष्मणमादाय हनुमान् रावणार्दितम् आनयद्रामसामीप्यं बाहुभ्यां परिगृह्यतम् हनुमतः सुहृत्वेन भक्त्या च परमेश्वरः लघुत्वमगमद्देवो गुरूणां गुरुरप्यजः सा शक्तिरपि तं त्यक्त्वा ज्ञात्वा नारायणांशजम् रावणस्य रथं प्रागाद् रावणोऽपि शनैस्ततः संज्ञामवाप्य जग्राह बाणासनमथोरुषा राममेवाभिदुद्राव दृष्ट्वा रामोऽपि तं क्रुधा आरुह्य जगतां नाथो हनुमन्तं महाबलम् रथस्थं रावणं दृष्ट्वा अभिदुद्राव राघवः ज्याशब्दमकरोत्तीव्रं वज्रनिष्पेषनिष्ठुरम् रामो गम्भीरया वाचा राक्षसेन्द्रमुवाचः राक्षसाधमतिष्ठाद्य क्व गमिष्यसि मे पुरः कृत्वापराधमेवं मे सर्वत्र समदर्शिनः येन बाणेन निहता राक्षसास्ते जनालये तेनैव त्वां हनिष्यामि तिष्ठाध्य मम गोचरे श्रीरामस्य वचः श्रुत्वा रावणो मारुतात्मजम् वहन्तं राघवं सङ्ख्ये शरैस्तीक्ष्णैरताडयत् हतस्यापि शरैस्तीक्ष्णैः वायुसूनो स्वतेजसा व्यवर्धत पुनस्तेजो ननर्द च महाकपिः ततो दृष्ट्वा हनूमन्तं सव्रणं रघुसत्तमः क्रोधमाहारयामास कालरुद्र इवापरः साश्वं रथं ध्वजं सूतं शस्त्रौघं धनुरञ्जसा छत्रं पताकां तरसा चिच्छेदशितसायकैः ततो महाशरेणाशु रावणं रघुसत्तमः विव्याधवज्रकल्पेन पाकारिरिव पर्वतं रामबाणहतो वीरश्चचाल च मुमोह च हस्तान्निपतितश्चापः तं समीक्ष्य रघूत्तमः अर्धचन्द्रेण चिच्छेद तत्किरीटं रविप्रभम् अनुजानामि गच्छत्वम् इदानीं बाणपीडितः प्रविश्य लङ्कामाश्वास्य श्वः पश्यसि बलं मम रामबाणेन संविद्धो हतदर्पोऽथ रावणः महत्या लज्जया युक्तो लङ्कां प्राविशदातुरः रामोऽपि लक्ष्मणं दृष्ट्वा मूर्छितं पतितं भुवि मानुषत्वमुपाश्रित्य लीलयानुशुशोचः ततः प्राह हनूमन्तं वत्स जीवय लक्ष्मणं महौषधी समानीय पूर्ववद्वानरानपि तथेति राघवेणोक्तो जगामाशु महाकपिः हनूमान् वायुवेगेन क्षणात् तीर्त्वा महोदधिम् एतस्मिन्नन्तरे चारा रावणाय न्यवेदयन् रामेण प्रेषितो देव हनुमान् क्षीरसागरं गतो नेतुं लक्ष्मणस्य जीवनार्थं महौषधीः श्रुत्वा तच्चारवचनं राजा चिन्तापरोऽभवत् जगाम रात्रावेकाकी कालनेमि गृहं क्षणात् गृहागतं समालोक्य रावणं विस्मयान्वितः कालनेमिरुवाचेदं प्राञ्जलिर्भयविह्वलः अर्घ्यादिकं ततः कृत्वा रावणस्याग्रतस्थितः किं ते करोमि राजेन्द्र किमागमनकारणं कालनेमिमुवाचेदं रावणो दुःखपीडितः ममापि कालवशतः कष्टमेतदुपस्थितं मया शक्त्या हतो वीरो लक्ष्मणः पतितो भुवि तं जीवयितुमानेतुम् ओषधीर्हनुमान् गतः यथा तस्य भवेद्विघ्नः तथा कुरु महामते मायया मुनिवेशेण मोहयस्व महाकपिं कालात्ययो यथा भूयात् तथा कृत्वैहि मन्दिरे रावणस्य वचः श्रुत्वा कालनेमिरुवाच तं रावणेश वचो मेद्य शृणु धारय तत्त्वतः प्रियं ते करवाण्येव न प्राणान् धारयाम्यहम् मारीचस्य यथारण्ये पुरा भून्मृगरूपिणः तथैव मे न सन्देहो भविष्यति दशानन हताः पुत्राश्च पौत्राश्च बान्धवा राक्षसाश्च ते घातयित्वा सुरकुलं जीवितेनापि किं तव राज्येन वा सीतया वा किं देहेन जडात्मना सीतां प्रयच्छ रामाय राज्यं देहि विभीषणे वनं याहि महाबाहो रम्यं मुनिगणाश्रयं स्नात्वा प्रातः शुभजले कृत्वा सन्ध्यादिकाः क्रियाः तत एकान्तमाश्रित्य सुखासनपरिग्रहः विसृज्य सर्वतः सङ्गम् इतरान् विषयान् बहिः प्रवृत्ताक्षगणं शनैः प्रत्यक्प्रवाहय प्रकृतेर्भिन्नमात्मानं विचारय सदा नघ चराचरं जगत्कृत्स्नं देहबुद्धीन्द्रियादिकम् आब्रह्मस्तम्भपर्यन्तं दृश्यते श्रूयते च यत् सैषा प्रकृतिरित्युक्ता सैव मायेति कीर्तिता सर्गस्थितिविनाशानां जगद्वृक्षस्य कारणं लोहितश्वेतकृष्णादि प्रजासृजति सर्वदा कामक्रोधादिपुत्राद्यान् हिंसा तृष्णादिकन्यकाः मोहयन्त्यनिशं देवमात्मानं स्वैर्गुणैर्विभुम् कर्तृत्वभोक्तृत्वमुखान् स्वगुणानात्मनीश्वरे आरोप्य स्ववशं कृत्वा तेन क्रीडति सर्वदा शुद्धोऽप्यात्मा यया युक्तः पश्यतीव सदा बहिः विस्मृत्य च स्वात्मानं मायागुणविमोहितः यदा सद्गुरुणा युक्तो बोध्यते बोधरूपिणा निवृत्तदृष्टिरात्मानं पश्यत्येव सदा स्फुटम् जीवन्मुक्तः सदा देही मुच्यते प्राकृतैर्गुणैः त्वमप्येवं सदात्मानं विचार्य नियतेन्द्रियः प्रकृतेरन्यमात्मानं ज्ञात्वा मुक्तो भविष्यसि ध्यातुं यद्य समर्थोऽसि सगुणं देवमाश्रय हृत्पद्मकर्णिके स्वर्णपीठे मणिगणान्विते मृदुश्लक्ष्णतरे तत्र जानक्या सह संस्थितं वीरासनं विशालाक्षं विद्युत्पुञ्जनिभाम्बरं किरीटहारकेयूरकौस्तुभादिभिरन्वितं नूपुरैः कटकैर्भान्तं तथैव वनमालया लक्ष्मणेन धनुर्द्वन्द्वकरेण परिसेवितम् एवं ध्यात्वा सदात्मानं रामं सर्वहृदि स्थितं भक्त्या परमया युक्तो मुच्यते नात्र संशयः शृणु वै चरितं तस्य भक्तैर्नित्यमनन्यधीः एवं चेत्कृतपूर्वाणि पापानि च महान्त्यपि क्षणादेव विनश्यन्ति यथाग्ने स्थूलराशयः भजस्व रामं परिपूर्णमेकं विहाय वैरं निजभक्तियुक्तः हृदा सदा भावितभावरूपम् अनामरूपं पुरुषं पुराणम् इति श्रीमद्ध्यात्मरामायणे उमामहेश्वरसंवादे युद्धकाण्डे षष्ठः सर्गः।